Hey everyone, I'm the only Resh. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, welcome to the channel for the first time. And I wanted to talk about Xbox potentially making a TV app and a streaming stick to play games on without having a console or anything like that. And when I say potentially, they said they're working on it, so it's more of a confirmed thing. So mainly over the past year, maybe a little bit longer, but for sure over the past year, we've seen plenty of rumors and talks about Xbox making the streaming stick and a TV app with xCloud on it. And them confirming they're actually working on that came from Liz Hamron, who's the head of gaming experiences and platforms at Microsoft. And she said, "We're working with global TV manufacturers to embed the Game Pass experience directly into internet connected TVs, so all you need to play is a controller." So, this is a really cool thing Xbox is doing as far as continuing their agenda of making games, making Xbox specifically, but games as a whole more accessible to more people. And the streaming stick being just a little thing you can plug into whatever port on your TV and have a controller and connect it to the internet, connect your Game Pass membership, login, whatever it is, and play games that way without needing a $500 Series X or $300 Series S or whatever else you would need. And the app being something that is installed directly onto your TV, so you don't even need to buy a little stick. It's just installed on your TV. You start the app, you log into Game Pass, and you have a controller that you connect to your TV, and that's it. That's all you need to play games. So this is, as I just said, a really cool thing they're doing for accessibility and making it that much easier to play games and that much cheaper to play games. And the streaming stick obviously would be something you pay for to bring home and plug into your TV. And app, I would assume, would be a free thing that you can just install on your TV, but obviously needing a Game Pass Ultimate subscription for both, because that is how you access xCloud, is with a Game Pass Ultimate subscription. So we also don't know exactly when this is happening or on which TVs, like which brands or anything like that. But Phil Spencer did say late last year that he expects to see this in the next 12 months. Now, saying that late last year would mean before 2022 we would see this. And just going off of us not really hearing much about it since, or to my knowledge, not hearing much about it since, I would be surprised if we see it by the end of this year. But there's also COVID complications still going on with not companies not having access, or manufacturers rather, not having access to different chips or whatever else they need to make new tech, and probably also leading to a shortage in TVs for all I know. But again, before the end of this year would be pretty quick in my opinion to see this, and I would be surprised if we saw it before the end of this year. And some people have guessed we could see the TV app shown for new 2022 TVs at CES in January. And CES is a big annual technology event where big companies show their newest stuff. So, and I think it was Gary Whitta when he was talking to Paris Lilly and Snowbike Mike on the Kind of Funny Xcast last Saturday, I think is when I heard that guest by Gary Whitta. And you would see the box with the TVs in it where you see all the logos like Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, and all the other stuff advertising what apps are available on the TV or pre-installed or whatever else. And after this is like fully revealed and ready to go, you would see the Xbox logo on the box for those TVs. And it'd be a weird thing to see for sure, just seeing like just the Xbox logo or xCloud or Game Pass or whatever you see on the box for the TV, so you can play Xbox without having an Xbox. Granted, they still have similar things like that where if you do have a Game Pass Ultimate subscription, but not even an Xbox, you can stream games to your phone, your tablet, or whatever else. So that's already a thing. It is just being able to play games without an Xbox, but this just being another way to do it with that streaming stick, with that app on the TV. And another thing Gary Whitta said, he had a good theory about the pricing they might do with this, or just a guess that he had for it, saying they could release that streaming stick for, let's say, $50 and bundle the stick with a controller for $100 and probably include a month or however long of Game Pass with both options, because Xbox has been pretty big about giving people a month or 3 months or whatever for Game Pass for little to no money, just to get people to try it out for the first time and see what a good deal it is and get people in that way. But again, if people don't like it, a dollar or free, so no loss there. But it's crazy to think and remember all the things Xbox is doing to make this accessibility and set the accessibility bar so much higher with the past, I guess, couple years, you could say, with the moves they've been making, with having the Series X being that premium hardware, like physical console option, but then having the Series S being a, like, not streaming, but digital only is what I was looking for. Console to have for $200 cheaper than the Series X, and then having this cheaper streaming stick in the future, and having the TV app, which is free to stream things from the cloud that way, where all you need is a controller and your TV and an internet connection, and all the games that are on Game Pass, and Game Pass being like relatively cheap for all the games that are on there. Huge crossplay between Xbox One, the Series consoles, and PC. Things like Halo Infinite multiplayer being free. They're trying to make Xbox games as a whole, as easily accessible as possible to as many different people on as many different platforms as they can, and have everybody playing everywhere at the same time together. It's insane to think about all the different moves they're making, and it's really cool. But another thing to keep in mind though with the xCloud on the streaming stick and the TV app is you do need a fairly decent internet connection, to my knowledge, to run xCloud well without a lot of input lag and stuff like that. Because recently there was an update for xCloud where iOS members could do it through Safari and stuff like that, where I think it's xbox.com/play or something like that on iOS devices, and you can do xCloud that way. Because if you remember last year, whenever it was, when xCloud was first being rolled out, it wasn't available to iOS because Apple just basically said no. And oh yeah, they said something like they would need to get each individual game approved and do something like that, and have each individual game be its own like app or something to load on the phone or something weird like that. So Apple was being difficult, which is why it's taken so long for xCloud to come to iOS. And I recently tried it out because they said it's now available to everybody with Game Pass Ultimate, and iOS members can use xCloud via Safari or whatever browser. So I tried that way, and I tried it with my 4G LTE and the Wi-Fi I have in my house, and my Wi-Fi isn't terrible. Like, it's like fairly decent. I get, I don't know, I can get 60 or 70 megabits per second, which is fairly decent. And there was enough input lag when I was playing xCloud to the point where I didn't really want to play it. Granted, I was also doing it with the touch controls on my phone. I didn't use a controller, so that could also have been a factor. But generally, the very short experience I gave myself with xCloud on my iPhone wasn't good enough for me to keep doing it. But again, I have my Series X at home, so I have my PC, so I have plenty of other options. But for people who don't have the other options, xCloud is a really, really cool thing, because a lot, I'm pretty sure not all Xbox Game Pass games are on xCloud, but a lot of games from Game Pass are on xCloud. There are a lot of games that have the touch controls, so you can do it with just your phone, not even having a controller. But again, you do need that fairly decent internet speed to have it be a reliable, I guess, option and steady option. But going back to remembering all the moves Xbox is making to make Xbox's platform and I guess ecosystem as a whole as easily accessible as humanly possible with all these moves, you can see all the effort they're putting in to making that a reality. And I can honestly see the future where Xbox has more players than PlayStation, because we all know Xbox One, PS4 generation, PlayStation blew them out of the water with hardware sales at least. But with all the moves they're making, and this is just the first 6-7 months of the new console launches, 8 months, I guess, it's they're making a lot of moves, and a lot of new people are actually going to Xbox. And with all these different options they have, Series S, Series X, Xbox One still being a viable option with new games coming to Xbox One still, Xbox having less next-gen exclusives, and that with cross-play and cross-progression and them doing backwards compatibility so well, I can definitely see the future where Xbox has more players than PlayStation. It would be a huge comeback after PlayStation 4 selling more than twice the number of actual consoles than Xbox One did last gen. So really cool thing there. I've said it like towards the beginning of this gen, I think right before the consoles launched, I said I was very excited to see the future in like 2 years to 5 years to the end of the generation on where Xbox is compared to where they were with the Xbox One, and how my guess earlier in the generation or before the generation started was the hardware sales and player base as a whole was going to be closer than it was last gen, but I didn't think Xbox was going to be able to pass PlayStation for stuff like that. But now I'm thinking it's possible Xbox could beat PlayStation as far as like players on the platforms and the ecosystem this gen compared to the last gen. Xbox gang, yeah. Pull this chat box up. Yeah, I've personally always been an Xbox guy over PlayStation. Granted, I've had PS2, PS3, PS4, and now PS5, and I've had well, my dad had the original Xbox, the OG, and then I had a 360 and Xbox One, and now a Series X. So I've had like pretty much all of them. Never had a PlayStation One though. PlayStation One came out whatever year it was when I couldn't speak. I'm pretty sure. Um, so yeah, I've always been an Xbox guy, mainly because that's where all my friends have been, and I love Halo, and that's just what I had at the time. So Xbox has always just felt more like home to me, but I still have to have PlayStation because God of War, Spider Man, Ratchet and Clank I enjoy well enough, but like now Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us and stuff like that, I have to have a PlayStation. But my main console I think is always going to be Xbox. Even when I got my PlayStation 5 before I got my Series X, I was on that more because it was like new and my only next gen console at the time. But then as soon as I got my Series X, I was already back to being mainly on Xbox. But yeah, with all these moves, I can definitely see Xbox getting very close, if not passing PlayStation for players this next gen, with all these moves they're making. Um, I hope we do see some more about the streaming stick soon. January in 2022 does seem like a believable time, I guess, to see more about that. I don't think I would buy the streaming stick or get the TV. Well, maybe get the TV app just to see what kind of stuff you can do on there. But I can't see myself using xCloud that much more, at least not until I get better internet somewhere. Because just going off of the first experience I had on my phone, this wasn't great, which is basically it. Fans are dying to know when you'll be making a return on Siege. Oh yeah, okay. Return on Siege minus the what 3 times I've played Siege, all shit. So probably not anytime soon. Um, but yeah, I'm probably not going to get the streaming stick because my one experience was just too much input lag for me. But maybe once I get better internet, I'll try it out again. But Hemi Stew and Corey said go Stadia. Nobody's on Stadia. Nobody's on Stadia. Thanks for hanging out in the stream. Thanks for those of you watching on YouTube. If you want my Let's Plays, gaming discussions, new release info, other random gaming stuff like this, be sure to subscribe on YouTube at The Only Rest. Just hit 250 subscribers recently, so that was really dope. Thank you, everybody, for that. Follow me on other platforms here on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, basically anywhere at The Only Rush. Twitch is where I do my multiplayer streams and all my Let's Plays live. So, as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, beat that boss, find that last collectible, roll those credits. I'm out.